Brenner Mills, Minnesota Vikings. Just want to win one before I die.
Lane Cooner, the conductor of the Baker train.
Man. Eagles, Chiefs, round 2, second straight year of a Chiefs Super Bowl rematch. I mean, the Super Bowl none of us wanted to see, right?
I mean, as a Cowboys fan that grew up in Missouri, this was the last thing I wanted to see.
Yeah, as a Cowboys fan, you obviously hate the Eagles. We grew up in a very Chiefs-centric area in which we were around a lot of Chiefs bias growing up, so you know, it's the same thing as living, you know, if you live in Kansas City, the bias creates more Broncos fans in the area. If you're living in Seattle, the bias creates more 49ers fans in the area. Similar effect. So, yeah, I didn't want to see the Super Bowl either. I mean, Philly fans have their obvious reputation for being the fans that they are. Sorry, Philly fans, you have that reputation whether you want it or not, or whether you're a part of it or not. The reputation is out there, and that sucks. That you know, that's the Super Bowl matchup. But nonetheless, I'm gonna watch. I mean, I'm not boycotting the Super Bowl. I've heard several people say I'm gonna boycott the Super Bowl. I mean, I'm not that mad.
I mean, I'll be working, so
I mean, that's fair.
But I mean, I'll probably end up watching. I'm sure I'll end up seeing most of the game, considering there's TVs at work. So
yeah. So, I mean, I'm going to watch, you're going to watch. Let's take a second and just like the video, subscribe to the channel. Really helps us out. We really appreciate it. And let's just go over real quick. We'll gloss over it before we get to the round 2 of Chiefs Eagles. Let's talk about the AFC and NFC championships. Let's start in the NFC championship game. Kind of played out the way I thought it would.
Yep.
The Eagles were just unstoppable. The Commanders' offense was pretty damn great, especially with a rookie quarterback at the helm. In the end, he's a rookie quarterback, and it showed. He had, you know, he may be the most poised and collected rookie we've ever seen in the NFL. He's still a rookie. He still makes rookie mistakes. Late in that game, he looked kind of, not frantic, but not his normal self, trying to play catch up with the Eagles. So just kind of, you know, run the ball with Saquon.
My big takeaway was turnovers. You can't turn the ball over 4 times.
Oh, for sure.
To 0. And I mean, like I saw one was a kickoff or a punt.
Yeah.
That they muffed, and it's like you're not gonna win a championship.
No,
you're not gonna win it.
They turned over 3 or 4 times.
They turned it over 4 times.
4 times.
Total.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
but yeah, you're not gonna win a game if you're turning the ball over that much.
You're not gonna win a regular season game turning the ball over that much.
Yeah.
So that one's pretty cut, dry, and easy. The more complicated of the two is the Bills-Chiefs game. I know me and you had a little discourse over the weekend talking about that game, and I'll let you go first. Give your thoughts.
I mean, you can bring it up. I mean, comes down to it. I don't think the calls were as bad as they have been in the past. I think they did a decent job.
I agree with that.
Like I thought it could have been much worse. It could have been as bad as the Houston Texans game was called. I think it was called pretty well.
Seriously.
But yeah, I thought they did a great job officiating it. I do still believe that was a first down. And I know you're going to argue with it, and that's fine. All I'm going to say is that I watched it in real time. Whenever I saw the play in real time, I was literally sitting next to my girlfriend, sitting next to my roommate. I said, hey, that's a first down. And obviously it wasn't. And still, I've watched so many videos of the same play over and over and over again. Nothing's going to change my mind. I still believe it was a first down. So,
yeah, and I'm not going to try to change your mind here.
But I still think that you can't just take that one play because, I mean, the Bills had the ball at the end of the game.
Yeah, they had 2 or 3 more opportunities to score.
Exactly. They had multiple opportunities to still score, even if that was a first down or it wasn't. So I don't think that one call cost the Bills the game, but I'm just looking at it, and it's like that's something that I still believe the NFL needs to work on a little bit. There's certain things that they can do to make it to where, like, hey, like we know for a fact that wasn't a first down or was, because the arguments are still going on. People are still having that argument today.
Yeah,
what, 2 days later?
I mean, we're still talking about it right now.
Yeah, 2 days later, we're still talking about whether it was a first down or not. There's things that the NFL needs to do because
to just
obviously
make it a fact.
Yeah, to just give us a clear-cut answer, because
it's real simple.
Yeah.
We have a video coming out on the channel later this week. Is the NFL rigged? Maybe, maybe not. We're going to talk about a few things in that video that we want to see changed in the NFL rules and technology-wise that would help us get those more clear answers. We won't dive too much into that right now, but make sure to check that video out on the channel later this week. I would like to say, when I watched that play, I thought he was stopped. Like, I was like, oh, they stopped him. But I was watching on a small screen, and then there was some screenshots you sent, some screenshots some other people sent to me of like, here's the line, here's where the ball is, but you could never see for sure the far edge of the ball. You could only see the middle of the ball, and you have to be able to see the ball, all of it, cross the line to gain. So I think that's a lapse in the rules, not the officiating. I think that...
Well, it's because you could see Josh Allen's helmet, and the ball was in his left hand. It was like his left arm. He was holding it like I get. Yeah, like he was he was holding it more in his left arm.
Yeah,
back turned, like the main
like
one
this,
that I showed.
Right? With this one right here, like this.
Yeah, kind of like that. And his helmet, I'm telling you, his helmet was right there, like parallel with the line to gain. If his helmet's there, left arm's going to be a little. Obviously, it's further up.
Yeah,
That was the picture of looking at his back is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I understand, and it would, for me, it was the same as if a guy catches a ball, right, and he goes to the ground and you don't ever see the ball, you can't rule it incomplete. You can't change the rule, so they couldn't change the ruling because they could infer that, oh, the helmet's there, that means the ball's there, but they have to see it per rule. And which I think is a dumb rule. They give the referees so much leeway with everything else they do. Why wouldn't you give them the leeway to make a judgment call there? I mean, it's just
that's
dumb.
Where kind of the other issue comes in, is that one of the refs marked the ball on the line to gain.
Yeah,
and then the other ref didn't, and I guess they went with the other ref's ruling, and
it was the line judge versus the down judge, and the line judge gets the call, the down judge doesn't.
There you
go.
So
if you don't
know more about that, I don't know.
So I was going to explain. There's two referees on each side of the field, which are line judges and down judges. Then there is a referee behind the play, the back judge. Then there is a referee behind the quarterback to the left, which is an umpire. And then there is the head official, and he is the referee of the game, and he is behind the quarterback to the right a little farther, watching the overall play, whereas like the umpire, he's like the referee's watching the game clock, right? And he's the guy that would throw the flag for the game clock, whereas the umpire is the guy who would throw the ball or throw the flag for the false start, or a line judge would throw the false start flag on the line of scrimmage. The back judge would, not really have to throw a penalty in that case, but the back judge would throw a penalty if there was holding on a defensive route type situation. So there's 7 different referees on every play. Everybody's got different responsibilities. Some overrule others. And in that case, the line judge, judging the line to gain, overrules the down judge, whose main responsibility is to make sure the change are set for the next down. But they both come in and meet so that people get a view from both sides. So that's why that happened. And once again, we're going to talk a lot more in our other video about how to change all this and how to make all this way better. So make sure, head on over to the channel, check it out, turn on the noti bell, and you'll be notified when we release that video. So thank you.
I was going to say that was my big controversial call, but obviously there's another one where Xavier Worthy, his catch.
Yeah, that was a drop. That was a drop.
Okay. I was just gonna.
Ball hits the ground and moves. That's an incomplete pass. I don't care if it's in the defender's arms. I don't care if it's in the offensive guy's arms.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Yeah,
I'm a Cowboys fan.
I'm telling people at home. I'm telling people at home. I mean, the ball hits the ground and it moves, and like he brings it in and moves it some more. That is the definition of an incomplete pass. I think the only reason I think that got okayed is because they were so concentrated on who had possession that they overlooked if
A
there was
ball,
actual
yeah.
possession, and that's a huge lapse. And I'll bring, like I keep saying, we'll bring it up more in the other video, and we will. But full paid refs, full time referees. These guys should be full time. I mean, the Super Bowl referee is literally an attorney. He's a full time attorney. He has an attorney job that he does year round. So he's got other to do that doesn't always, or not doesn't always, but just he's got other things to do and he can't focus on football year round. These guys should be able to focus on football year round. They should be, interviewing for new refs every year, trying to build the best brand they can, and they're not, and it's frustrating to say the least. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the Chiefs-Bills game. I think the Chiefs I don't think the referees gave them the game. I think they won the game. I think that Josh Allen, last play of the game, he had a chance to hit Shakir, and what ends up happening is they run a fake bubble back behind him, and then they run the bubble on the near side that he came from, and Josh Allen looks to his right to pull the safety to the right side of the field so that Shakir would have more open space, and then was going to turn back and dump it off to Shakir for 20 plus yards. And that's what was going to happen. But he turned right, saw two dudes blitzing in his face. He panicked, goes, okay, I don't have time to turn around and throw, so I'm just going to take off away from these dudes. Tried to create as much space as he could and heaved it up to Kincaid. Kincaid, who's running full speed left and has to come to a complete stop and dive back to his right. I agree the ball hit him in the hands. I don't agree that that's like you should catch that ball. Like, no. Like, just because I throw my hands up and the ball hits me in the hands doesn't mean I had the concentration and focus to catch the ball.
It wasn't like the Mark Andrews drop.
Yeah, no the Mark Andrews
like
drop is fucking atrocious, and he deserves to be cut. Mainly because he's going to make like $16 million next year, and if you drop that pass, you don't deserve to make $16 million. But the Kincaid catch wasn't anything like that. It was a way tougher catch. People have been arguing, he was wide open. How do you drop that? You drop that. Go out in your backyard. Have your niece, your nephew, your brother, your sister, your uncle, your mom, your dad. You go run full speed to your left, and you have them throw a pass 5 yards behind you. You come to a stop and dive for that ball. I want to know how many of those you catch. I think there's 10 dudes on the planet who make that catch in game. Kincaid's just not one of them. But
he's not.
Yeah, that's my thoughts on the Kansas City Chiefs and Buffalo Bills game. It was a good game. It was an awesome game. I enjoyed it.
A lot more fun than the first one.
Yeah, a lot more fun. You got any thoughts before we move on to the Super Bowl?
Let's go to the Super Bowl.
All right, let's talk about the Super Bowl. Chiefs, Eagles, round 2 was dropped today, in case you are wondering. In case you make your bet solely based off of uniforms, the Kansas City Chiefs will be wearing their white unis on Sunday, February 9th. The Philadelphia Eagles will be wearing their green unis, not the Kelly greens, just the home green attire for the Philadelphia Eagles is what they will wear in the Super Bowl. And I know lots of people make bets based off that kind of thing. I am not one of them. Let's talk about tail of the tape, okay? Leading passer for each team, everybody's going to know, Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, those are easy. Everybody's going to know those. Leading rushers, you have Kareem Hunt for the Chiefs. Anybody guess who the Eagles had as their leading rusher? Saquon Barkley, who averaged in the regular season 5.9 yards per carry on the season. Absolutely insane. Had 13 touchdowns, 2,005 yards. Unbelievable season from Saquon. And then the leading receiver for each team, Travis Kelce, 67 receptions, 823 yards, and 3 touchdowns. The leading receiver on the Eagles also had 67 receptions, but for 1,079 yards and 7 touchdowns as A.J. Brown. So very similar offenses here, in my opinion, aside from the rushing. Meant passing offenses there. Kansas City, they pass 64% of the time. Philly, 51% of the time. KC runs it 36% of the time. Philly runs it 49% of the time. Philly should be running it 89% of the time as far as I'm concerned, dude.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley. This is a little later on, but I'm going to get into it now for just a second. Saquon Barkley is averaging 7.9 yards per carry in the playoffs. And it's not like he had one big game. In both games, both of the last 2 games, he's averaged 7.9. And the game before that, I believe it was 7.7. The dude is unbelievable. Unbelievable what he's doing. Okay. Kansas City against the spread this season. They are 7-9-1. Philly is 11-6. Kansas City's offense averaged 22.6 yards per game, which was 15th in the NFL this season. Philadelphia was at 27.2 points against. Here's where it gets a little tighter. Kansas City, 19.2 points per game allowed, 4th in the NFL. Philadelphia, 17.8, 2nd in the league. So 2 good defenses here. And I think Kansas City they've bumbled at times offensively throughout the year. I think they're playing really cohesive right now. So I think we're going to get like the best version of the Kansas City offense that we've seen so far this season. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would say so.
And then I'm just going to just keys to the game for me. My keys to the game for Kansas City. Obviously, number 1 is stop the run. I mean, there's no... it's the lowest hanging fruit there is. I don't know. There's no more important key to the game. Up until this conference championship game, the Eagles were undefeated when Jalen Hurts had less than 150 passing yards, and had lost and were like 1-6 when he had more than 150 passing yards. So you just stop the run.
You make Jalen Hurts have to pass to win.
Exactly. Make Jalen Hurts pass the ball and get pressure. So stop the run and get pressure on Jalen Hurts, and Kansas City's going to three-peat. Philadelphia's keys to the game. Adversely, run the damn football. Keep the ball out of Jalen's hands. Run the football. Don't get caught up in, okay, we need some chunk plays to keep up with this Patrick Mahomes-led offense, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, and, we got to make sure, blah, blah. No. Run the fucking football. Keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands. And on defense, keep Mahomes contained. Don't let him get out of the pocket. Don't let him create plays. Don't let him be Patrick Mahomes. Be disciplined in your rush lanes and run the ball. That's what you need to do if you're Philadelphia to win. If that's the case, Philadelphia will win round 2, unlike Rocky. But those are my keys to the game. Spoon, you want to go ahead and for just a second, I'm going to bring it up here. It's taking a second to load, but let's go ahead and talk about the spread, the over/under, who we think's going to win, all that good stuff here. I'm bringing it up on the screen. Share screen. Here we go. All right, not the conference championships. We want the Super Bowl. All right, zoom in here for everybody so they can see at home. One more? Nope. There we go. All right, so opening spread, we have Kansas City -1.5. I really think if it's -1.5, you got to go Kansas City here.
I mean, do you think they win the game?
I will get into that in a minute, but I'm going to go.
If they win, then yeah, obviously that's the way to go.
Yeah, you got to go.
It's just a pick 'em. That's all this is.
Exactly. We're going to get into some numbers here in just a second that I want to talk to you about, that more reasons why. So spread and money line are kind of the same here. If you're going to go there, whichever ones has the better odds. So if you think Philly's going to win, I would stay off the spread. I would go money line Philly. If you think Kansas City's going to win, I would hammer the spread. Because the odds they win by 1 are very, very low. The 3 most common point differentials in NFL football games, 2, 6, and 8. So you got pretty good numbers there. As you can see down here at the bottom, the money line is -125. I would bet this spread is probably -110 then. And Philly, adversely, would be a little bit higher than the +106. This over-under.
Okay, so that's what I was going to bring up next. I was going to say, from what we just saw in the NFC and AFC championship game, I mean, would it not be the right pick to go ahead and hammer that over?
I mean, yes, yes, based on that, but you're forgetting this is the number 2 and number 4 ranked defense. I think they're baiting. I think Vegas is baiting here.
Okay.
I think this is a 21-24 football game. I think Vegas is baiting. I think they know everybody just watched Philly put up 55 points?
Yeah.
55 points on Washington. Everybody just watched the Bills and Kansas City go toe-to-toe in a huge game. I think these are two possession-based offenses. They're not explosive. I mean, Saquon's explosive, but let's be real about Washington's defense. They've been a liability. You talked about it last week. They have been a liability this entire time. They were not by any means shutting people out. Washington was winning with their offense, not with their defense. So I think you have the number 2 and the number 4 ranked offense, the number 7, the number 15 ranked, 2 and 4 defense, 7 and 15 ranked offenses. I tend to lean towards the under at a 50. At a 50 burger, I tend to lean towards the under. You got to have at least a 24-26, 23-27 game to get there. I'm not saying it's unreasonable, and I definitely think you can. It's just I think it's a little bit of baiting. I honestly do. I think they're trying to sucker you in based off these past couple games. And I think this is a 17-24, a one possession game in the low 20s, high teens. Are you feeling the over here? You're feeling.
I'm still feeling the over here.
Hey, I don't blame you. Give the people your thoughts. Tell them what you think.
I mean, these are two great defenses. It's just that we've seen a lot out of these offenses, obviously.
Yeah. You're one touch away from Saquon touching the end zone at any point on the field. Point. Don't care where you're at.
Like, I don't care how good your defense is. Like, he's gonna break one off.
Oh, dude.
I know he's going to.
I mean, I can't Man, I love Saquon Barkley so much. It's the nostalgia of Adrian Peterson is what it is for me. That long breakaway run is my favorite play in football. You blitz the defense, you're just streaking to I get so hyped watching that. That big run he had where he broke 3 tackles, bounced it back the opposite way, and broke it off. Oh my God, I was so hyped for that. And I wasn't even rooting for Philadelphia. I was rooting for the Commanders, and I was so hyped off of that. It was, oh God, I love it. All right, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pretty condemning stats for the Eagles here. Okay. And I think I can sway some people into believing that the Chiefs are probably going to three-peat here. Okay? So, this is the 5th head coach Super Bowl rematch. So, Andy Reid and Nick Sirianni, this is the 5th time head coaches have rematched in the Super Bowl. The previous 4 times, the previous winner has won. So 4-0 to the previous winner. That would mean Reid wins. Vic Fangio-led defenses are 0-8 against Patrick Mahomes' lifetime. Teams to put up 45 or more points in the conference championship games are 0-2 in the Super Bowl. Teams to put up over 40 points are I believe it is. I had it here. I just lost it. Sorry. 3-7. So teams to put up over 40, 3-7. Teams to go over 45 drops to 0-2. Eagles just put up 55 points. Mahomes is 33-5 lifetime on 8 days or more of rest. So he's only lost 5 games in the NFL on 8 days or more of rest. One of those was the Super Bowl to Tom Brady. He is 8-0 in the playoffs against the spread when the spread is -3 or lower for the Chiefs. And Super Bowl winners are 23-0 when they cover the spread, which obviously if Kansas City covers their spread, they'll win. So that one's kind of duh. So, yeah, those are all pretty condemning for the Eagles. Really just 6 major wins. That last one's just kind of a little tidbit. But yeah, the one that really stood out to me was the 55 or the 45 plus being 0-2. You know, you get that emotional high and then you just fall flat. You just get too hyped up. And I think a great example of that was this year's Detroit Lions team, right? They get super hyped up to go in and play Minnesota in week 18 for the division, and they knocked the shit out of us, right? They beat the shit out of the Vikings that day. They blitzed Sam Darnold at one of the most impressive clips we've ever seen. They got home all day. They were high energy. They were flying around the football field. What happened? The next time that we saw them, they got beat by the Washington Commanders, the 6th seed at home. Fell flat. And I just that worries me. That worries me. Do you have any thoughts on who you think will win the Super Bowl?
It's tough to bet against Patrick Mahomes. Obviously here I feel like the Eagles are the better all around team here. So I'm leaning towards the Eagles, but man, it's tough to count, Pat.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I would like to see the Eagles win for Saquon Barkley. That is my only stake in this game. I think Saquon is the best running back in the NFL. I've thought this for several years now. Most talent, anyways. And he has been underutilized in New York for years. And it just made me sick to watch. And I'm so happy for him. I hate that it's with the Eagles, but I'm happy for him as a person. Couldn't happen to a better guy. Once again, sucks it's on the Eagles. And I don't want to see the Chiefs three-peat. I kind of do just to witness history, like that kind of thing. Like it'd be cool to see a historic thing like that in our lifetime, something that's never been done. Like that part of me wants to see it. But a bigger part of me wants to see Saquon Barkley win a ring. So yeah, I'm gonna go Saquon here, and I'm gonna say I want the Eagles to win, but I'm going to say I'm predicting the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, and yeah, probably in that one score 24-17, 23-20 type football game, and it's just gonna be. There's going to be some field goals. It's not going to be all explosive touchdowns. We're not going to – I mean, I don't think we're going to have 6-7 touchdowns in this game. I see 2 from Saquon, 2 from Patrick Mahomes, maybe 1 rushing on the Eagles, 1 maybe 5. I have a hard time believing that we're getting to 3 touchdowns apiece.
Yeah.
But
I could see that over hitting pretty well, but it could be a trap. Who knows? Like what you just said.
I will say Vegas knows, right? Vegas knows.
Vegas does know.
Vegas knows things. So I would bet it's going to be either way over or pretty damn close to 49. So yeah. I'm probably wrong. I will admit I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. But yeah, you got anything else you want to add to the Super Bowl? We're going to touch a little bit more in depth next week. We will take a look at how the lines have moved. If the lines have moved, we'll touch on our potential MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. We'll go over all the awards next week, who we think should win and why, and all that good stuff.
We're giving our team grades next week?
Yep, team grades, everything. Yeah. Everything comes next week, and then obviously the week after we'll talk about the awards, we'll talk about the Super Bowl, and we'll tell you all about the off-season plans here on Wide Eye Sports. So make sure to tune in for all of that good stuff coming in the next few weeks. Like I've always said, like the video, subscribe to the channel, noti bell, all that good stuff will pop up right in your feed for you. Tell your mother, tell your brother, tell your sister, tell your father. We really appreciate it, and we'll see y'all next time.